I am Joseph R. Wheeler III, artist, founder, and president of the ONYXCON Foundation. Welcome to another live. If you don't know, ONYXCON is a 501c3 nonprofit arts and creative lifestyle organization. When we say arts, we mean especially the popular arts. What are the popular arts? If you think of Comic-Cons and Comic-Con culture, that's what we stem from. We originated in 2009 at the Southwest Arts Center in Atlanta, Georgia. We were started as a Comic-Con, a live actual event celebrating comic book culture and related popular arts in film, toys, gaming, and related. After the major health crisis, around 2018 was our last year of operating as a live event, but we always had social media. We always had social media platforms. And so we became strictly an online thing, and that's what we are, and that's what we remain. This is where we stand. We stand on YouTube, Instagram, especially Instagram. If you're not following on Instagram, check us out on Instagram. Follow, but also subscribe for only 99 cents a month for the best of our content there. We also have some other pages besides our main page on Instagram. We have ONYXCON Style, ONYXCON Fitness, ONYXCON Outdoors, ONYXCON Rides, and ONYXCON Style. So you got all those plus straight up ONYXCON, okay? So, yeah, we do a lot. And we also have an ONYXCON fan base. Shout out to fan base. I like that platform. It's growing, and I think it's going to do amazing things in the future. It's another social media platform if you're not aware of it. But check out fan base, FANBASE. And also we're on TikTok, but I like to say, I honestly don't post a lot on TikTok, but we are there. Every now and then I get a notion to remember, oh, that's right, let me go over there, because it's just something about TikTok is just a little bit, I guess it's a generation gap thing. Honestly, that's how I look at it. It doesn't speak to me for my personal demographic. I have young people in our demographic, and I'm very happy to have y'all. For those of y'all who respect your elders and want to learn from the older generations and want to get knowledge about what happened before your reality and what's still happening and how we look at it, because we got the wisdom of years of experience. So, that's a thing. But unfortunately, on most of it's like Snapchat. We don't have a Snapchat for ONYXCON, and I don't see myself starting one because, again, it's just you. The only time I've ever been asked, "What's your Snap?" is always somebody in their super early 20s or younger. And that rarely happens. That only happens here and there, like if I'm on a movie set, like, I'm in the film business, and you meet somebody who's there to, they're like 23, 22-ish, like 22 to about 25. That's the only folks ever ask, hey, what's your Snap? Everybody else like, nobody, they say, what's your Instagram? Like, and that's universal. That's like no matter what your age. So yeah, we're big on Instagram. What's up, everybody? I got 25 in the building. Let me know y'all can hear me. Put a thumbs up if you can hear me. Let me make sure the sound is right up in here. I want to make sure y'all can hear me. 30 in the building, shoot. Let me get that. Hey, thumbs up if you can hear me, if you can hear my voice. Let's make sure we got everybody on point. I see one. I appreciate you. I guess the rest of y'all are, having an issue. Can you hear me? Oh, man. But anyway, so no, we're strong on Instagram. There we go. We got some thumbs up. Appreciate you. We're strong on Instagram. We're strong here. We're getting stronger thanks to y'all. 1,200. Very proud of that. I love them big numbers like that. Those are milestone numbers. When you reach, every even number or even odd number, but it's like the solid number, like 1,200, 1,500, 2,000. We want to go into 2025 with 2,000 at least. I would hope. I think it's gonna happen. Every time I post, I always say, you never know. You never know what post is gonna be the one. What thing is gonna really activate people to be like, oh man, I missed this. Why did I not? I should have been following this. I like this. But we just gonna keep doing what we do, because we're doing something right. We got some numbers. We just want to get more and get completely solidified and able to do all of our greatest goals and dreams as an organization. Because we travel, we do vlogs, we do interviews. Okay, nowadays you can't say interview, just podcast. I think the word interview is starting to die. It's just like people say interview and podcast interchangeably. It's just funny to me only because I remember when podcast literally was a strictly audio format. It was like an interview that was recorded, pre-recorded or recorded live, and only on certain pages, and that's it. It did like a lot of young folk don't even realize that that's what it really is. But you know, that's how things change. It's just like we say video, music video, this, that, and the other video. Have you seen that video? You heard that record? Like, you know, they're talking about vinyl records. They're talking about videos from VHS era. So, you know, words evolve. That's how it happens. But things they get double meanings. Speaking of double meanings, oh my goodness. I'm gonna hit this topic real quick and then move on, because if you're not familiar with the way I do these, typically when I go live, I chat about many a thing. I brainstorm on future content, and I chat about things that have crossed my path that were interesting or I got curious of for the moment or whatever. And because I was born into hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Literally born into hip hop. I'm almost as old as hip hop is. They say hip hop is 50, so just put that in perspective. That's all I'm gonna say there. I don't mind giving my age, but more and more I like to play a little Easter egg hunt thing with that. Like, you know, some places I drop it straight up. I'm this old. And other times I just keep people guessing, because I like the reaction, especially from the ladies when they don't know. And they say, oh, I thought you were in your 30s. I'll be like, bless your heart, I love it. What could be better, right? But no, like, I was, you know, when you're into hip hop, and hip hop is starting to have, I think, what could become what it's been needing for years, and that being hip hop for older heads. You know what I'm saying? Like really, you know, we need that. We need a subgenre, as hip hop does have subgenres. Some people don't like to say that because they feel like, oh, no, everything is all one. We got to keep it one. That's our problem. We don't unify. It ain't unified any damn way. Ain't nothing unified. I always say, like, when people talk about the culture, we don't use that phrase, because here, I deem the phrase, I coined the phrase, the hashtag and everything, whether it was with a Z at the end or a S, representing the plural of it, for the cultures. Because everybody don't do what I do. Anybody, you know, out of 1,200 people, 1,200 plus people who support ONYXCON, some of them I know personally, some I don't. Some of them I've never met physically, but we know each other, we respect each other. We got a friendship from afar, you know. And there's things they're into I'm not into. There's things they do that I would never do. There's things that, but no matter what, we got respect. I always say the main code, and the way the phrase should really go, is respect, power, then money. Not the way it's been misconstrued by Little Kim on the Lock song back in the day, talking about money, power, respect. That's all backwards. That's ass backwards. It goes respect, power, money. So if you live off of that, you can respect other people having differences, as long as they don't go past boundaries, because there should be boundaries. When you cross the boundaries, okay, we done. I can't move with you. I can't rock with you because you want some others I ain't with. You know what I'm saying? You know, as a nonprofit, we technically are not to, like, I couldn't tell you how to vote, but I can tell you to vote. I can suggest you vote. I can give you information to inform your vote politically, right? But with the results of this last election, I feel like all logic and everything that went out the damn door. We in Bizarro world. So to go back to comic book culture, if you know DC Comics and you know who Bizarro is, if you don't know, look up who Bizarro is, if you've never heard of that character, all right? They need to come out with this next Superman. That need to be the villain. That need to be the villain. To be symbolic. We are now living in Bizarro world. Everything that goes one way is going the other way. Everything's ass backwards, right? So, and there's no way to determine who's on what side of anything no more, because everybody's all convoluted. And this is why I say, when you get to the honesty of it, at least to be aware of that and acknowledge that it's Bizarro world, now you can acknowledge why I say for the cultures, because you can't claim too much nowadays. You shouldn't be claiming too much anyway. You need to be claiming yourself. You know, support those that support you, rock with who rocks with you, but always demonstrate individualism. Always demonstrate individualism. Okay. So, I'm saying all this for a reason. It's heading up to the main point of what I'm really getting at. So what crossed my path is because of my love for hip hop, and I listen to a lot of new albums on here on YouTube, you know, and I've done reviews, and that's a part of ONYXCON. We do ONYXCON music, and that's reviews, and sometimes it's just playlists. So I want y'all to go check those out. We got tons of playlists that are public that I want y'all to see. I want y'all to hear. I want y'all to absorb, especially if you call yourself a hip hopper. If you call yourself a hip hop head, especially my young folk, 'cause we got a young demographic here. I want y'all to listen to those playlists. Listen to my West Coast playlist. You're going to hear a lot of favorite stuff you going to know, and you're going to hear some stuff you ain't never heard. And you're going to say, wait a minute, who is this? And what is that? And what, huh? Oh, snap, wait a minute. And you might like it, you might not. But one thing about it, you're going to learn something. You're going to learn something new, and that's what we're here for, edutainment. And so when you look at as much stuff about hip-hop as I do, there is a segment of hip-hop. Like I say, subgenres and everything. There's a subgenre of hip-hop known as G-Funk and gangster rap. I mean, you really don't have to call it sub. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately because it shouldn't be dominant, but it is. Gangster rap is kind of dominant. It's what some people first think of when you say, hey, you listen to hip hop? They're like, no, if they don't like stuff like that or they think it's all negative, no, don't listen to that shit. No, I don't want to hear all that. And I get it. I can understand. I'm never put off when people say that, you know, unless I wanted them to, unless I was hoping we could relate on something on that level and have a conversation. But you know, it'd be a little disappointing, but I get why. I'm never under any illusions as to why somebody, if you say, hey, do you like hip hop? You know, what, rap? No. Some people, not everybody. A lot of people, obviously most people love, you know, born into the generations I was born into, we love it. We grew up in it. We grew up in this music, in the cultures. Like I say, for the cultures. We don't do that here. We do this other thing. I'm labeling my own way of looking at it. For the cultures, plural. So we enjoy a lot about it, but then we all, if you're intelligent and logical like me, you've seen the problems with it all along. You've always known what was wrong with it. You've always known where it fell short and still thinks it's on a higher level, but it ain't gotten there yet. And it's always going to seem to struggle with it because once it gets commercialized and once certain powers that want to support certain negative energy and things in society are owning the record labels and owning the radio stations and owning the means for people to even get their music to so many ears, well, hell, you know why things are the way they are, because agendas are real, gatekeeping is real, shit is real, okay? So I was, you know, because I look at so much, you know, the algorithm here will suggest things that you may or may not want to see. And every now and then I get caught in the sauce. You know, the clickbait is real. Clickbait is real. And I'm not going to even shout out the name of the person because I don't like them. I don't know them to not like them. I don't like the energy of what their channel is representing. Because I looked them up and I realized, okay, I see what this is. Not feeling this shit. But I am going to describe it so anybody who is curious will be able to figure out who I'm talking about and look it up for yourself. But there's a video, it's almost at 1 million. And I hate to say I added to the numbers for that because sometimes I just want to be able to, I wish there was a button you could watch it and be like, will this contribute to this person's bottom line? It's like, you know, hey, at the end of the day, we all trying to get paid as YouTubers. So that's the sacrifice for looking at anything, right? You're going to help somebody's bottom line, even if you don't agree with where they're coming from or whatever. So I pushed the button and I'm looking because the clickbait of the thumbnail had Cardi B on it. And she's in one of her, honestly, you know, with so much AI going on, you have to wonder if this is an original image or not. I swear to God, you never know what the hell you're looking at no more. The AI done got too good at generating images. You know, I play around with AI sometimes for imagery to get a image to go along with a certain thought for a certain part of my videos. And it blows my mind how quick this stuff come back with something that's almost what I envisioned. And I'm like, this is scary. This is scary. And it's so powerful what it can do. So anyway, there was an image of Cardi, and she has on this red bandana outfit, which there's a lot of bandana outfits nowadays. Of course, anybody in hip hop or paying attention to the trends of what got popular and why in urban fashion knows that hopefully you've gone beyond just the urban reality of a bandana. Because I've done videos about this, but I think I'm gonna have to do a real actual video about the history of bandanas and the symbols. You know, as a visual artist, what bothers me is when people get to a point where they only associate something with one thing and not anything else. And it's always this negative stuff. Hold tight. Pardon, y'all. So I'm back. So anyway, so I was looking and I see this Cardi B image and it says, and there's this white guy with tattoos on his hands, knuckles, everything, all sleeve, arms, the whole nine. He got it. And he's got the beard, and he has a certain look that could quickly be stereotyped as he rides bikes, he's into working out, maybe he's military, ex-military. He's got this quote-unquote stereotypical tough guy look, right? And he's throwing up a gang sign for Bloods. And on the damn thumbnail, it basically says Cardi B is a Blood and something else. And I said, okay, oh boy. But who's talking? That was the first thing popped in my head. I said, but who is talking? Cardi has made it very, Cardi and other rappers have made it very, if anybody knows street stuff, because they've done either research or lived in areas where they've had to contend with situations and be aware of their surroundings and what's happening with trends and criminal element. You know, me being from Atlanta, Georgia, growing up in middle school was when I first realized that gangs were real. I knew they were real, but I'm saying I knew they were real to Atlanta, because I, being a hip hop kid, being grown up in hip hop, I saw relations to that cultural element in the music and stuff being talked about. And I heard reports and news things and whatnot about what was going on in LA and Chicago and New York, and really starting with New York. New York was like man, when I was a kid, New York just seemed like hell. Like, who would want to ever visit there? And I'll never forget, I was a kid the first time I went there. First time I ever flew a plane, we went to New York for a family trip. And I just remember feeling like, man, why the hell are we going here? Like, this place, I was excited, but I was scared at the same time, because all I heard was negative stuff, you know what I mean? And then when I got there, back then how it looked, because this was like late 80s, I think, if I remember right. Yeah, it was worse than anything I could have imagined the way it looked back then. I mean, the tagging everywhere and just the grittiness was just, it wasn't this gentrified stadium in the middle of downtown Brooklyn place that people know now, and high rent in Brooklyn and Bronx and places. No, you know, well, Bronx is still going through changes, I've heard, but Brooklyn is almost taken in many ways for gentrification, in all the best parts of it anyway. So, you know, I've heard about all that stuff, and I've known about all that stuff, and I know it's real, right? I've seen it. So I saw it from that perspective. Then later on, when I got to college, I went to Pratt in Brooklyn, New York, okay? Back in 93, 94, okay? Anybody who wasn't even born yet, don't even pretend you can even challenge what I'm saying, because everybody who lived it knows exactly what I'm talking about. This was crack era to the fullest. It was horrible. At the same time, it was exciting, and it was something new to me, and I learned a lot from being in that experience. But, and then my ex that I divorced when I was married, she was from Los Angeles. So I had family out there, and I still have a connection to people out there, you know, through that relationship, and more importantly, other relationships as friends I have in the film biz and otherwise, just people I know, you know. Good people that ain't never been a part of any of that stereotype of everything, but have been affected by it. Because the sad history about these things is, some of these places, gang activity has been so prevalent for so long that even people ain't got nothing to do with that still get affected by it, still have family members involved, still have friends that died over that mess, or had somebody get caught in crossfire. You know, speaking from my own experience with that part, I've been to a funeral for somebody caught in crossfire. I've had to get the call out of nowhere that somebody got hit, and they had nothing to do with that mess. Wrong place, wrong time. I know about all of that. So when I was young in middle school, I remember I wanted to research and know why is this like this? And what is this? And where's this stuff coming from, right? And the first commercialized example of it, for my awareness, was when the movie Colors came out back in the 80s. If you've never seen it, it's on YouTube. You can watch it without, with commercials or whatever. It's a good movie. It's really a good movie, actually. It's a classic movie. And it does a pretty decent job of showing what it was, because the other thing about Colors is they actually used real gang members as extras in certain scenes and stuff. So there's a haunting scene where they pull all the major Crip gangs and blood gangs off the street and put them in 2 separate holding cells, and they're throwing up their sets between the 2 different. There's nothing but a bar, bars, a wall of bars between them, but they all at the bars clawing at each other. If they could get over the bar, they're just like, just like, blood crazed monsters trying to kill each other. And that scene, even though it was for a movie, to my understanding, there were real members in that scene to make that thing look real. They paid. I hope they would have paid them like they should in the business, but I've heard of stranger things when, they don't know nothing about the biz yet. Just bring a bunch of folk in, or if they did pay them, nickels and dimes for something that became a cultural landmark for a time in history. Everybody in that scene probably done, been killed off, dead, sick, or almost dying now, and never got paid for it. Who knows? It's sad to say, but I'm saying that was my first exposure to seeing how crazy it could really be like that. And so through a movie, like I say, but then real life started to hit, because when crack hit Atlanta, like it hit every major city that had blacks and Latinos, because it was on purpose to try to destroy our communities. There's documentaries. Watch the documentary Crips and Bloods, Born in America. Watch that documentary. That's recommended viewing. Matter of fact, we have it in one of our, I think I put it in the Sankofa. I can't remember if I put it. It's in one of our playlists, because I made sure that we do that, by the way. We are a library, and we want to be that to you as a viewer. If you want an abundance of edutainment, information, education, and entertainment, but most importantly, we were here to educate you. We want you to wake up to some things you may not have been knowing. Look at all of our playlists. All of our playlists. You're going to see some stuff. You're going to be like, whoa. Oh. And I mean, on every level. I mean, it's not going to, I let artists be artists, so you're going to hear some stuff that's kind of crazy. Like, views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of ONYXCON's affiliates, associates, sponsors, etc. But we will share information, because you can't know what a problem is, and you can't be intelligent and speak on something if you're not fully aware of what the hell you talking about. And that was my problem with this video I saw with this guy, this white guy who obviously was, he all tatted up. And as soon as I see somebody I have nothing against tattoos either, by the way. I don't personally have any, but the irony of that is, as a visual artist first, I always wanted to get some, I just haven't gotten them. And the clock has been right for me, because being an actor, I've learned, if you got too many tats on you, it's 2 things with that. If you're not already famous, like The Rock, when he already got famous in wrestling, and that goes along with the wrestling persona and the world of that, so you can get in that business and do quite well with a certain look, and it fits everything about the industry you're in, right? But if you're in film in general, not every role is going to fit that look. So you end up cutting off a whole slew of roles you would have gotten, just because, for one thing, even if they like your face, like if you ain't got no tattoos on your face or anything, you got a nice face that they like from a casting perspective, and they bring you in, they're like, well, we need you to have your shirt off. It's going to be a pool scene. And you take off your shirt and you got all kind of crazy tats and stuff. They're like, damn, you might lose the job because of that. Because if you're not The Rock, and they're gonna take the money to cover all them tattoos, it's makeup. They put this heavy makeup on to cover them, and it's got to be waterproof, and it's got to be constantly retouched, scene after scene, because the stuff does not stay on, not with water. So just to give that example, imagine now you're a deficit to the budget of the project. It ain't much, but they pinching millions. Not pennies, they pinching millions. They don't want to share too much if they ain't got to. They want to put that in their own pocket and walk off with it at the highest end of the production budget. They don't want to have to pay, oh man, it's how much? Damn. Oh, never mind, get somebody else. And it'll be just that quick to somebody be like, yeah, sorry, they're not gonna use you. I've seen it, literally. But anyway, So there's this guy, he's all tatted up, this white guy, and he's looking Mr. Tough Guy. And I pushed the button. I said, let me see what this guy talking about, because somebody's speaking on the cultures. Let's make sure they know what they saying since they talking stuff, right? And he's basically going down a list of major rappers over the years and saying how certain ones are gang affiliated, and this is the gang they must be claiming, because from my assessment of him, he's some form of either current or former law enforcement. And he spoke of doing interrogations with kids that were perps and asking them questions. And he said he had a list of things he would checkpoint them on. And if they didn't answer certain things right, he'd know, oh yeah, you must be in a gang. And the most ridiculous thing he said to that degree was, he started talking about the Chicago Bulls and how it's popular with Bloods, and it's used, and their gear is worn by a lot of blood sets and stuff all over the country and in the world. And yes, that can be true, but it also can be just a kid that admires the legacy of Michael Jordan. A grown-ass man like myself who grew up in the era of Michael Jordan, who will wear Bulls gear whether they winning or losing, because it's the Bulls. And I remember the legacy of that team because of Jordan, because of Pippen, because of all those guys that played. Like, what are you talking about? That's literally where it starts and where it can end for some people. Ain't got a damn thing to do with no criminal element. But what pisses me off is when I'm hearing this from somebody like that, I'm saying, wow, this dude is the kind of mind that's making a decision on whether or not a child goes to jail or not. And he said, he asked the guy who's interviewing him, who, by the way, was the guy who hosts this channel is former CIA and a former Navy SEAL. I said, oh my gosh. Wow. If this guy with the CIA and the FBI is who investigates heavy crimes like this when it gets to the highest level of gang activity. And when he asked this guy, he says, have you ever seen the Chicago Bulls in a green jersey? And the guy's like, no, exactly. Because when they wear green, that symbolizes sex, money, drugs. It's a gang. It's a part of the Bloods nation, and it's a certain gang. And they wear green because the leader, he loved money, so they wear green in honor of him, the guy who started that particular branch of the Bloods. And I'm saying, oh my gosh. Now, while that might be true on the street level, so suddenly because of that one thing, you're summing up that anybody, black or Latino, and from his mentality, hell, if you look youngish, hell, if you're a cool older dude like me, yes, look at him. He's an OG. If I had on a green, because I just like the color green, and I like the Bulls because of Jordan, and I get a jersey that's yeah. He's the OG. He's definitely, look at him. He's a gangster. No, you stupid man. Oh my God. I'm looking at this like, I can't believe this dude is even saying it. And the worst part is that the other dude is nodding his head like, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's crazy. But wow. Yeah, you read them good. No, you didn't. You didn't read nothing. This is absurd. And this is the kind of fear tactic BS that's driving the internet to where people get 2 seconds of information and run off and tell somebody, you know what that really means, right? You know what that is. You know what that, and then suddenly kids are getting pulled off the street, getting pulled over, getting profiled by corrupt, twisted law enforcement that already has a negative agenda to wipe out anybody that they deem as not worthy to exist. I said, man, look at this BS right here. Now, the only thing that gave me some saving grace, because of course, like I said, he went through the whole interview, jumping down list of people and who's what and what their tattoos mean and different things. Now, some of that stuff was true. And there's nothing worse than when there's a little bit of truth, because then it seems like the rest of it is validated. No, the hell it ain't. No, the hell it ain't. But I was happy to see in the comments that most people were like, this guy's an idiot. What's wrong with this guy? Like, he was bugging his eyes through the whole interview and looking all, straight. And somebody said, this dude, in so many words, they alluded to saying this dude's a cokehead. Like no one else has their eyes bugged out of their head and won't blink for a whole damn hour interview. Like, something's wrong with this dude on something. Then somebody else was like, this dude dipped his whole head in the flower pot. I fell out. I said, oh my God, I was rolling. I said, thank you. At least I know that somebody, ain't too many people falling for the BS. They not lost in the sauce. They see what I saw. They see that this dude and the guy interviewing him are on a mission to push a certain agenda. And you got to watch it, man. This stuff is growing. And the problem is these people got money. He's got a nice looking studio cave or wherever he films this thing. And, you know, all of that gives some people, oh, well, he must be doing something good because he's got a nice place and he's white and he's he served his country. And, you know, some people literally, that's all you got to do to get them to be like, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Oh, yeah, you know, because all these gangsters, they're all gangsters. That's all they are. They're just a bunch of gangsters. Everybody black. They're just a bunch of gangsters, and they're trying to get all our kids to join their gangs and go to prison, even though there's white gangs too, and there's white kids that want to be in black and Latino gangs and want to emulate them and act like them, and that's our problem. See, they're acting like them, and we're sick of it. And we know the reason why is because the companies, the corporations we own, make the jerseys like the green official Bulls jersey that is worn traditionally for St. Patrick's Day, because there's lots of Irish white ancestry people in Chicago. And this is a fact. You can look it up right now. Google it. I did just because I had seen the jersey before, but I haven't seen one in a long time. So I Googled it knowing what the answer was, but I just needed to see it. After I left that mouse, let me Google this real quick, just so I can call it whatever the name is that's used for it or whatever. And sure as shit, it's a green St. Patrick's Day variant jersey for the Chicago Bulls that they wear and have worn, that was made officially for the team, not a bootleg, not some random one made up. You know, gangsters do a special order to Temu, to China, and companies in China that make, what's my big one that it's a great thing you want to get stuff made. Abba Dabba, they didn't do an Abba Dabba order to every damn place in the United States and all over the world where there's black and Latino gangs, where they all just picked their favorite gang-related colors and stuff and had special jerseys made, and everybody just had a big picnic one day, and the whole gang got their jerseys for a long, here's your service. Great year of scamming and robbing and drug dealing. Here, get your jersey and make sure you wear it so that some scared ass white folks that have this illusion that we're all doing the same thing and we're all doing it. Man, god dang, can you believe the ignorance that these fools will say? I'm looking at this like, this is the sickest part. I wouldn't care what this person was saying if it weren't for the fact that I know that they're both involved in military and law enforcement. And this ain't everybody. I got friends in both that ain't on none of this. That would be just as upset and frustrated as I was to see this, if and when they will see it. Because they're going to, man, are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? Like, this, and some of the stuff the dude was saying, and this goes like this, and this means that, and that means that. Some of the stuff is so old, it don't even apply no more. It did it one time. But then you're also talking about stuff that's so exaggerated and crazy that it's like, even when it did exist, it may have been isolated situations to certain groups, certain subsets, certain mini groups, and all them people dead now, and the next group of folk caught up in the nonsense are still perpetrating the fraud, still out here doing those crimes, whatever, but not the same way as their predecessors. Stuff does evolve, even on that low level, even on that low frequency of street gang banging on each other. Stuff evolves. And for the best of amongst the rest, there are people, OGs especially, who are fed up. The original gangsters, the old gangsters, they're tired of they're tired, man. They don't want it. They don't live long enough, been to jail long enough, everything. I watched to counter this nonsense, I saw another interview that I was very impressed with. It was by one of the leaders, original founders of the Crips from Los Angeles, not some, moved out to some other state and they claiming to be an origin of Crip. No. The actual people that actually started it all. And he was speaking on it, and he was breaking down the fact that, after all the pain he caused himself and his family, he's so frustrated with the way things are now. And he broke down a lot of really good, solid information for anybody who wants to just know the truth. Even if it's about this very tender, horrible topic, he gave the truth about it. And he didn't make himself know, just because he's reformed himself and he's doing better now, he stands on the fact that he knows, man, he was no good when he was younger. And he made critical mistakes that ended up costing whole neighborhoods and generations their lives, and their ability to think and be rational and not get caught in to the prison industrial complex and the legal system and be forever lost in that. He pretty much said it through the whole interview how disgusted he ultimately was with what they did. Now he, being what was his past, he did speak on it and talked about it from a stage of stupid innocence, being young. He didn't try to make that even sound like it wasn't ugly and that it wasn't good what he was doing, but he just said what he did. He said what he used to do. And he was even explaining there in the very beginning, it wasn't even like what it became. It wasn't about drugs. There were no drugs on the streets back then, not like to that degree. People, if they were doing that, they did it for themselves. It was on a very minor level. It wasn't spread across a whole community. It wasn't like crack. It wasn't infiltrating a whole community with the intent of destroying the entire community. It was a sub area of the community where people got lost in that for various reasons of depression and substance abuse issues. But that became a norm after crack hit. And even the guns, he explained, they didn't have them guns. That shit got put on the streets by the U.S. military, certain factions of it. Not everybody, but those who were involved, where the hands are dirty, they dirty. And this ain't nothing I'm saying is a conspiracy theory. We've lived long enough, those of us, like I say, almost as old as hip hop. Or as old, if not older than hip hop, for those who can relate. We done lived long enough, y'all, to actually literally see, like, not just, because, some people don't want to hear it from black folk, because they so racist and crazy. They don't want to hear a black person interview and do anything. That's not a credible source. It's them talking about themselves. I tell you, they're all criminals. I'm talking about white folks saying it, okay? If that's what you need, plenty of documentaries with folk validating that there were white folks at the top in charge that did. See, it's not racial as much as it is still racial. It's not racial on that level. See, race was created by folk who own some white supremacy anyway. So when I say these things, I want to make it clear. I got plenty of white friends who only use the word white the way I use black. It's like, yeah, we understand we in this game, but that ain't how I really identify myself. I'm an African diasporan. More importantly than that, I'm an individual and I'm an artist. So it's pretty disgusting, man, because, people have said this stuff and they keep saying this stuff. And if you paint a certain picture long enough, people don't ask no questions. They just go off fears. They hear the words that are trigger words that the news and media and certain media factions have pushed a certain agenda, pushed a certain identity. These are the criminals. This is what criminal element in America always looks like. And it's sad to say that there are a lot of young black folk caught up because of the oppression, caught up because of all the damn discrimination, caught up because of all the years of lesser this, lesser that in certain areas, in certain situations, because I'm not an example of that. Even though I've been in the same room with some of that. I went to schools where it was diverse enough where you had the black kids that had some good money and parents was keeping us on the narrow, straight and narrow, and then you had kids who went wayward. But it was still a time where staying on the straight and narrow was still the better way to be at the schools I attended, especially my elementary and my high school. I will say my middle school was a weird situation because that's just that time in life. They say going through puberty, everybody get crazier. Man, middle school was weird. It's like it was almost half and half. It was like those of us who wanted to be somebody, and everybody that just wanted to thug it out, hoe it out, wild out, And it did get worse in some regards with that side of it all. But there was also all of us who did exceptional things and became and are still super productive individuals, not in just our society, but on a world level. And so I just hate the fact that you got a whole demographic of people who want to paint a picture of every community and try to make it like everybody, because what they're really getting at is, okay, these rappers and stuff are so popular that your kids are basically admiring gangsters, and these are what those gangs do. Let me tell you what they do. Let me tell you about their initiation processes. Let me tell you about them goddamn, look, most of these mofos, these R&B singers and rappers that claim gangs, some of them, yes, they come from the source. They were involved. They did do certain things. But I can guarantee you that most of them are not the worst of the most, worst of the worst. If they were, you would have never seen them in a record studio, cut a record, have any of the business acumen, even with their drug habits, abusive habits, whatever they got going on. They wouldn't have made, they could not be the worst of the worst and made it where they made it. It just don't work that way. And even with all the hair and makeup involved and lights, camera, action involved, like I say, I'm in the business, so I know how much goes into making a person look a certain way on camera. You ain't got enough makeup to cover up some of the scars that the real gangsters got. So a Cardi B, I don't care how bad Cardi was in the day, and if she was really banging on a red side of things and really a blood and all that in New York, whatever, look, no, sorry, no. Might still have contacts and numbers in her phone to the folks who the real kingpins, but she was no. And this dude in the interview saying that she was a kingpin, no. Nope, sorry, nope. No kingpin is going on a reality show yelling bish for 30 damn minutes to get paid. They don't have to do that. They can call somebody bish on the streets in real life and set up real hits and set up real bricks coming in off docks sanctioned by governments, slide by with military. They can do it on other levels. They don't need that. Like, come on with the nonsense, man. Stop the bullshit. Stop it. Just stop it. Please stop it. And talking about Lil Wayne and him being Pyru and all that. The only real Pyru's in LA, because that's where the street is. Everybody else is claiming something, and that's that. Doggone Chris Brown claiming Fruit Top Bloods and all that. Okay, so he got to know somebody. He wanted to have a street image because he was known as the nice kid with the nice smile, the handsome young man, which is what the hell he should have stuck to, because that's what the hell he was born to be. I never forget him before he switched into that other identity and wanted to be street and stuff. I never forget he been on an award ceremony, and if you can look back and find how old this one is, you'll know it was way back before he got, he was already famous. He was already known as a great singer, great dancer. Everybody's calling him the next Michael Jackson and all that. And Chris Brown was like, well, I'm loosely quoting, but he said something like his mama was in the audience watching something. He's just like, I know my mom always telling me to smile more. And he smiled, and all the girls going crazy. And he's like, yeah, I guess I should. Like, translation, even back then, he was trying to be a badass. It's like, dude, that ain't your image. You're not a badass. It's okay, though. What's wrong with being the dude who can really get all the girls? Like, for real. Like, why would you want to sit on that blessing? But anyway, and he paid for it. I mean, there's documentaries about women who dealt with him. They were frustrated and sad because of how when he got into that other life and trying to be all that and hanging out with all them kind of folk. And to this day, he still, you see him, every time you see him, he got something red on or try to slip it in. He's still flagging. He's still letting them know because here's the other part of it. A lot of that stuff be tied in with different other kind of money. And maybe that's how he wanted some of his money to flow. I don't know. I can't speak for that completely, but I see what I see, and it's pretty obvious when you know the things I understand. And like I say, it's commercialized. It's not real. It's commercialized, man. It's not the people in the gutter for real. So if you want to wave the hey, acknowledge this, parents, that sure, but don't have the audacity to sit on this show and act like you some saint. Because I'm looking at the dude while he talking, in addition to how crazy he look, all crazed through the whole damn interview, I'm observing his bicep and I'm laughing. I am laughing. Because he got on, like I said, he had full sleeve tats. And on one of his arms right here, he got the flag of, I said, I know that's a pirate flag. So I looked it up to make sure I was knowing which one it was. I knew it was a pirate flag. I know a lot of symbols. I'm a visual artist. I love all this. I love to study symbolism and understand where things actually come from. And the flag was the flag for Blackbeard the pirate, one of the most notorious pirates in the history of maritime piracy. One of the most notorious pirates in the history of maritime piracy. And if you know anything about pirates in the history of all of that and how convoluted that was, it was much like, for its time, it was much like urban street gangs, but they were on the sea. And there was just as much variation in the types and the way they intertwine and had their politics amongst each other and stuff. You had doggone military folk who were assigned to go get the pirates in the name of the governments from Europe that would turn to piracy once they felt like, well, there's more money over here. Just like the real life version of what you see in a movie like Deep Cover, which premiered Snoop Dogg on the track with Dr. Dre, if you don't know your hip hop history. But that classic movie, you talk about a classic movie, with my man Fishburne, okay? Lawrence Fishburne played an undercover cop in LA trying to infiltrate a major cocaine operation that was tied to street gangs and everything else going on, but mostly beyond the higher than street gang level, on like true kingpin level stuff. And he gets so in under deep cover that he starts living like a true gangster. He got so in character with playing his role to get the intel. He just says, man, I'm too far in. I guess I'm loving this life, right? That's what happened with a lot of folk in military that were supposed to be regulating the pirates, turned to piracy. And then you had groups that were like so notorious and ruthless, and the stuff they do when you really look up what they would do other than just looting ships and going and killing off other pirates, or going and killing off military groups that were involved in their own form of piracy and imperialism. What the hell you think? Every damn base you see when you go on vacation in the Caribbean, what do you think those are for? That was for protecting the colony. The colony. What's a colony? That is an empire. What's an empire? It's a strategic, government-sanctioned form of gangsterism. You coming in and bullying, raping, and yes, don't ever take out the word because it's what they did. Columbus, one of the biggest gangsters in the history of the maritime. Maritime means marine, time of marine travel and commerce. You know, that's why they cleaned it up instead of calling it what the hell it was. Marine gangsterism. The transatlantic slave trade. The crack trade of its time. That's exactly what the hell it was. Because it was addictive for everybody involved, even the Africans who sold each other. Facts. Because I'm not selling me, I'm selling a prisoner of war. He ain't us. He ain't this set. Yeah, you can take him. Now, I'm not saying that tribalism in Africa operated the exact same as urban gang. No. I had a teacher in college try to get away with saying that. I stood up so fat, boy, I chewed her ass out. She caused her to think she gonna get me kicked out of school. I did another dissertation, sent it straight to the dean. She had to give me a formal apology. I ain't the one. You ain't about to sit up here and compare tribal, like literal tribalism to urban gang warfare. No. There's minute relations, but that's just human nature stuff. That's just human nature stuff. Don't compare. Don't compare. Don't do that. You put in drugs and guns and other urban elements, it's a whole nother animal. It ain't got the same. No, that's not the same. Not whatsoever. Sorry. Nope. Even when gangs call themselves such and such tribe, that, you know, shout out Booyah Tribe. I used to like Booyah Tribe, some of these songs, you know, but they straight up gangster rap. Straight up. Samoan blood gang rap, basically. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is. Snoop Dogg is a Crip. This is true. He got mentioned all that in the interview. Yeah, Snoop, tell yourself, Crip this, Crip that. He makes it commercial. Ain't nothing commercial about it, but that's what he does with it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, the issue is real. Like that's the part that bothered me so much about that interview, is that yes, a lot of the stuff the basic level stuff was true, but who you pointing the finger at, and you literally saluting an old world gang on your arm, and I'm more than sure that with all the tats he had, something else may have been suspect. If you want to just play the holier than thou and start talking about what symbols mean, and therefore, yeah, you're just officially part of that mentality and that. But are you, Mr. Law Enforcement? Are you a pirate? Are you a gang banging on this ocean pirate? Because you sure as hell got the symbol on your arm, player. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Just let's not, yo, as the phrase goes, call a spade a spade. Let's not do it. Let's not do it. If one is guilty, all guilty. Don't be giving me that. We gonna start acting like one is less atrocious and, well, you know, imperialism and colonization was not the same. And the hell it ain't. The hell it ain't. You giving the list. You talking about what defines a gang. They bully, they rob, they... at what point is this not a pirate? At what point is this not a slave trader? At what point is this not what you just said? Seriously, just be any logical human being. If they call it home invasion. You go up to somebody's door, knock it in, got a weapon of force or use your physical force, whatever it can do the job. They try to fight back. You're more powerful. You knock them the hell out. Somebody takes sexual advantage of somebody. You're telling me all of this is not criminal behavior based on today's standards. You're telling me all of this is not gangsterism. You're telling me all of this is not gang activity based on what you're calling gang activity on your little interview. Is it not? Don't dare. Do not. I've been hearing this my whole life, and I'm just fed up, y'all, because we're in critical times. We're in critical times because stuff that you think people understand, we all realize now, going into a second term of idiocy, bizarro world, straight up bizarro world, that there's a lot of people don't have the slightest clue and never wanted to. They would rather redefine history and lie about what true history is, as we know they're doing, trying to kick the true critical race theory, the true knowledge, the true, what they want to call woke, and demonize a phrase that black folk made up to be the very thing to say to each other, yo, stay woke, my brother, stay woke, my sister, because they trying to pull the veil over your face. Don't let them pull the veil. And then we applied it over our music, made it popular culture, made it everything, and they realized that was what was happening. So they're like, oh, whoa, let's hold it, let's stop this. Erykah Badu and these rappers, certain ones, they're woke. We gotta make that seem evil. We gotta somehow make that seem anti-American. We gotta somehow make that seem like they don't like being here. What are you talking about, fool? We here like you here. Yo, gangsters, that ain't the only way we got here, because we came before Columbus, Ivan Van Sertima. That's for my Afrocentrics that's gonna come up in here. If I don't hit all the check boxes, they gonna start tripping. But some of them be on some BS too, but this ain't your turn. Because some of them be on some BS too. You know what? Yeah, you can always get a turn, goddamn. You ain't the biggest problem. The biggest problem is what I was previously talking about. But we ain't gonna get you off the hook. I'm gonna add in while I'm on the topic. Your boy, for some of y'all who love him, just think he's just the greatest thing since, can't say white bread, sliced bread. Gotta say, all pun intended to how extreme he is. Since wheat bread, Dr. Umar, right? And if you say, well, why you say his name? You ain't say the white boy's name. Because at the end of the day, like Umar would be proud to hear me say, you still my brother. With your ignorant ass. You're all over the place. You ain't right. But the truth of it is, I don't think Umar gonna ever change, but he got some stuff I could agree with. It's when he started talking to other crazy. And the reason why I mentioned the white boy's channel is because one simple thing. I still ain't said his name because I don't really want to give him no more numbers. I just want to speak on the situation. If you're curious enough, it ain't gonna be hard to find, because unlike my channel where we speaking some real, it's hard for me to get the numbers. It's hard for me to get the numbers. Because as Umar would say, I always want to call everybody a coon who don't agree with him, but I ain't cooning over here. Meanwhile, every time Umar does anything, he gets millions. I'm just saying. Oh, man. I'm just saying. But if you haven't seen his interview, Umar's interview recently on Joe Budden's show, I ain't gonna say it was really good. I'm gonna say it was very informative about how he really thinks on things. It was very disturbing, quite frankly. a lot of things in the beginning. I was like, okay, I know it's gonna go crazy. I've seen too many of his interviews to know. I studied folks to know who's gonna be a problem. I don't just ignore, even if somebody get on my nerves. I gotta know enough about them to know why they're an issue. You know what I'm saying? And I saw this situation and I said, the danger I think it is about a guy like Umar, and I'm gonna say this real, it could almost deserve its own video about this, but I'm gonna say it in brief and keep it moving. Like I said, we about to enter another 4 years of who knows what the hell might happen because of the nuttiness that's about to go back into office. When that person, you might say, why you don't say that name? Because now that right there is just, I don't even like to say the name no more. It's just disgusting to me. I'll say Chump. How about that? When Chump goes back into office, I remember when I thought Chump, like everybody, was just a total clown, which he is, and didn't believe it was, for those of us who just didn't believe he was even serious when he said, I'm running. Man, this dude running for president. You gotta be kidding me, man. I'll never forget sitting and watching Jimmy Fallon when he had him on. And that's how long ago this was, just right when he was pretty much announcing I think he had already announced he was running, but he was still not being taken serious as a candidate. He hadn't really hit the numbers yet. And he was trying to get them by being on that and other shows. And Fallon is laughing with him, and it's almost like you could feel that Fallon even, has him on almost like we're saying we're laughing with you, not at you, but we're laughing at you. Oh my gosh. It was that kind of interview. And at the end, I left it just at that. But within months, maybe even weeks, that dude started climbing in the polls. It was serious. And now he gets to be the official candidate for the Republican Party. I said, oh my God, what is going on? That was the beginning of the new Bizarro world. It's been Bizarro, but the new Bizarro era. I said, Lord have mercy on us. What is coming next? And we all know what happened. Here's what it is, right? We all know what happened. We all know what happened. We all know what happened. And here's what it is. Then there was Biden. Then there was the wishful hope of no, not perfect, because there's no such thing as a perfect candidate. There's no such thing as a perfect candidate. There's never been a such thing as a perfect candidate, but there has been a thing called respect, and there has been a thing called rapport. There has been a thing called candor. There has been a thing called somebody I would be not as frustrated with seeing as a representative of where I say I live. And as a traveler especially, wanting to be able to go out into the world, and not when I say, oh yeah, I'm American, people say, oh wow, yeah, I know, right? Oh man, just no. So anyway, I look at the situation with Umar like, he's too radical for anybody on the white side of things to ever vote a person like him in. But as crazy as this world is right now, don't think for a minute that Umar couldn't pick a city with a high enough black population and convert enough black folk to his kind of extremity and run for local office of some sort. I wouldn't go as far as necessarily mayor, but could possibly end up being like a city council person. I don't doubt it. And it was something he said in that interview with Joe Budden that made me think, I bet this dude really does want to mess around. He wants to dabble in politics. He don't just be talking about it. He wants to get in the arena a little bit. And that's, man, shit. It's not becoming. Not when you up here saying stuff like, you acknowledge that when there's a mixed race child from a mixed race situation. First of all, the fact that he even talks about race tells me you're somebody that does not completely respect or understand the concept that race is a construct created by white supremacy. Literally. The whole concept of you're black, you're white, wait a minute, what are you? Let me, with my understanding, my perception, because that's all the hell it is per individual, oh, that's a white guy. And then the person walk over and be like, what's happening, man? Wow, you sound really cool, like you're almost like a black guy. I am black. What do you mean you're black? I'm black. Come on, man. You don't. How do you identify as black and you sound like that? And I mean, look at you. You don't look black. My mom's black. My dad's black. What you mean they're black? I mean, they're real light. They're mixed, but they too identify as black. Oh no. So so what does a Umar do with that? You have a meeting and then he's sitting up here talking about, no, don't let them in. They not black. What the hell are you talking about? Like if Colin Powell had been not a U.S. military guy, but had been a dude who had, based on Umar's understanding and definitions of what blackness is, grew up in Philly in the same neighborhood as him and everything, but he somehow crossed paths and never met him. And then later on in life, once he's got established and he's doing certain things with his organizations, and this person that looks like Colin Powell comes to one of his meetings and stand outside, can't get in because he said, don't let that white guy in. But you talking about he's not white, man. The man say he's black. See, you can get lost in the sauce if you want to. You can play the game if you want to. You can take the game too serious. Somebody can have you born into the game, but don't let nobody tell you who the funk you are. You better define yourself for the cultures, or you're gonna be real surprised when certain people you think are on your side of certain issues and think, oh, they'll turn on you in a heartbeat. They'll flip on you because they on that other stuff. They literally believe these words. They live by the code of this stuff. You talk about how programmed gangbangers and that mentality is. It's the same part of the brain that is in operation when people literally say to themselves, I'm this, I'm that, based on what somebody told me I am. And I'm only that. So then when they get out into the world, which is why I always say, please travel, people, please travel. And you start getting a wake-up call. If you get in a country and around some other people, you're like, well, as far as I'm concerned, all of y'all, it don't matter what you think. I know one thing, if it's offensive what you think about some other people when you're there in their country and they tell you, well, this is how we see ourselves, and you say because of your narrow, Americanized, simple, basic-ass definitions of everything, this race, that, is they don't even talk about ethnicity most of the time in America. And no one's honest about talking about skin color all the damn time. Are you really being honest when you say this to a visual artist? You're literally saying that's a white, like that is as white as this part of this bag, and the other person is black as the blackest part of this bag. Are you literally saying that to your stupid ass self? Damn, are you that insane? Like, that's insanity. You know that, right? That's literally insanity. Completely. To think that way. It's ridiculous, y'all. It's ridiculous. But there's people who pretend to themselves that that's what they're saying or seeing or whatever. And it can be, you can drill that in your brain enough that you actually lose a part of your damn rendering mental skills and become psychotic and literally start labeling things on these weird ass meters. It's weird, man. That's why they say racism, true racism in its highest form, is a form of psychosis. It's psychotic. That shit is not normal. It's not natural to think like that, to talk like that, to really believe that stuff. But this is what we've been dealing with all my life, and my grandparents and parents before me. Everybody, man, we dealing with this, man. This is what we've been dealing with our whole life. Every day we wake up to it. There's places in the world where they don't even talk like this. They're aware that that's how people are over here in other places, maybe in the UK, and everywhere that's directly a part of the most direct parts of American history. UK, all of America, parts of Canada, and then other places in the world, from my understanding, and a little bit of travel, and most importantly, people I've known from places, 'cause that's when you get the truth. Talk to the people from the place you keep talking about. Don't believe what they said on the news. The news, man, come on. Which news? Who? What report? There's honest reporters that lose their job for being too real, and then there's the other stuff. But anyway, damn, God almighty. But folk in the mess, man, they believe everything. And then that's my ultimate problem with what I saw in this video, is you're literally promoting a certain image of, you're pretty much casting all modern day major star rappers and folk into this life. Now, sad to say, here's the problem with what's been done. So many of them are into this stuff. So it's hard to debate that or counter that when if I start mentioning other people, that's not true. What about this person, that person? You ain't gonna even know who the hell I'm talking about. If I say Snoop, it's yeah, that's a Crip. Okay, damn, shit, can't use that. If I say Common, that's what about Common? He's from Chicago, it's gangland, and he talks about the gang culture and everything in his raps to acknowledge it from what he had to deal with when he was growing up. But he is not a gangbanger. He knows people in that life, but he is not of that life. Circumstance of where he grew up, yes. Him, no. No. You know what I'm saying? But so many white folk that would be on that same mess of if they're racist, if they of that and stuff, right? Not even just white, black, Asian, Latin, what it don't matter. The MAGA mentality, because that's the other thing about this channel. That's all this dude is. He on that MAGA mess. It was obvious. Once I sniffed around a little bit, I don't like none of this. Phew, throw it in the trash. I'm out of here. But I got enough to know when I see you go the other way, because we ain't on the same plane at all. I'm going to give you enough to know. I like to know who's in the room, damn it. I like to read the room. So I made a quick assessment that this dude, former CIA and all that. I was like, oh my gosh. Yep. Okay. Gotcha. Got a little money, started a podcast, whatever. All right. And he was on some other person's show that popped up. Because, you watch one, it's like, I wish there was a button that says, but you like more like, no. I was researching, damn it. I don't want to see the other shit damn, don't you hate when YouTube do that? Like, golly, man, I looked at one video. It don't mean I want a whole bunch of this. So please, stop. Like, they need to, if YouTube, hopefully y'all will pay attention to this. Stop doing that. The viewer, don't assume that if I'm watching it don't matter what the topic is, I might just be wanting to educate myself on something I didn't know as much about. I might just be curious about, somebody had on, I could see in the thumbnail, man, I love that fitted cap. I collect fitted caps, right? I just want to see the hat. That's all I wanted to see, man. And then I got caught up in trying to figure out what they were talking about. And it got a little interesting, but maybe not so much. And at the end of it, I was like, damn, I could have went on with my day, but it's okay, whatever. I know something about something I didn't know about. That's all. I don't need you to just suggest 20 other damn videos about, golly, about anything. I hate it. They do it all the time. I can't stand it. So anyway, I saw another one with this dude, and he on some super conservative dude's site, and they basically talk about the election that has already, it was just before it happened, I think. And talking about how tense the culture is and the nation's culture, the general American issues and whatnot. Still for the cultures. And I didn't like the way he answered it. I didn't like the way it ended. He had this look on his face like, this dude's former military. And he was CIA and SEAL. He done killed more folk than he can remember. And he just had this look like, if we got to pick a side and if we got to do it, we got to do it. I was like, oh, man, goddamn. This is a, they call them insurrectionists. No, this is a terrorist mentality. Hopefully that's not what he's on, but that's what I got from what I saw in that damn interview. And so to know that's who was interviewing this other dude up here trying to label black and Latino stars in rap. Yeah, they're all a bunch of gangsters, man. Every one of them, they're affiliated, man. They're banging. They have banging history, man. Man, you ain't. Oh my gosh, have mercy. Well, walk around, since he's so knowing what everything will trigger something, walk around shirtless in the right white poor neighborhood where everybody's tatted up and folk coming home from prison the way he looked, and see if he don't get banged on. And can he just throw up his hands and say, hey man, I just got a tattoo, but that's Blackbeard. And be like, yeah, we don't like pirates. Pow! I mean, who knows, man? Who knows? Shit is so random out here. Like, what the hell are you talking about, man? Chill out. Chill the hell out. Stay in your lane and shut up if you don't know what you're talking about. Because there's plenty of people that ain't on the bullshit. That's pretty much what I was wanting to say, y'all. And if it comes across your way, I just hope more and more people are paying attention. That's all, because there's plenty of stuff to keep you delusional if you fall for the okie doke. Stay true woke. The original woke. Not the one that some politicians took and tried to demonize. No, the real meaning of the phrase. Yeah, for the cultures. Peace.